Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Kim and welcome back to Uncommonkim. So this will, I think you'll be seeing this on day 4 of Summerween. So hopefully that's correct. Days, I don't know what day it is anymore. Anyway, hopefully this is day 4 you're seeing this. But yes, Summerween. I have done a little bit of damage, and by a little I mean quite a lot. Over the past kind of month or so, I've been buying quite a lot of horrors and thrillers that have just kind of been shouting to me for a little while, and I've been sad. So when sad, buy books. So that's exactly what I've done. So I thought I would do a bit of a book haul just to show you what books I bought. Sound good? Alright, let's get into this then. I can't really remember who, what, where, when, where did I buy it, where did I buy it. So we're just going to start with this bag and start at the top and make our way through. So book number 1 is Boys in the Valley by Philip Fracassi. So I read my first Philip Fracassi this year, which was the Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre, and I loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars, really enjoyed it. And this is kind of like the other book that he's very much well known for and is very much on my radar. I know not really very much about it, apart from it's set in an orphanage for boys in Pennsylvania. Weird shit starts happening, I'm assuming, because that's what Philip Fracassi does best. But it's actually not too long. I thought it was going to be longer. It's about 300 pages, so like an average size book. But yeah, very, very excited to get to this one at some point in the future. But just also having another Philip Fracassi on my shelves is quite exciting. Next is one I very much am an ard about for months, to be honest. When it first came out, I nearly bought it and then I didn't, and as time has gone on, I nearly bought it and then I didn't, and then I was like, no, I'm not gonna, and then I did. Basically, and that is Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. I've heard really good things about, oh my god, Barack Obama recommended. What? How random is that? Okay, cool. Barack Obama recommended 2025. I own a few Stephen Graham Jones, and by a few I mean, do I actually own one? Lol, I thought I owned more than that. No, I don't. I own one, which is My Heart's a Chainsaw. I haven't read it yet, so you know. But I have got this one now. But yeah, this one's very much been floating about for a little while now. A lot of people have enjoyed it, a lot of people haven't, but the people that I follow have enjoyed it more than not, and due to that, it's one of those that I keep umming and ahhing, going, yeah, I'll read it, maybe not, yeah, no. So in the end, I just bought it. And I thought, I've got a lot of points with my Waterstones card, let's buy it, let's see how we go. If I enjoy it, cool. If I don't, I'll just unhaul it and be done. So I'm not really sure what to think of this. So, a blood-soaked and unflinching saga of violence of colonial America, a revenge story like no other, and the chilling renovation of vampire lore from the master of horror. Yeah, I don't really know what to expect, but the fact this keeps popping up, I need to give it a go, just to see how it goes, you know? FYI, I have a fan on, if you can kind of hear something that sounds like a fan, because it's fucking boiling today, and I'm warm. Next one is one I'm very much anticipating and I'm very much excited for, and that is Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson. I read Guillotine back a couple of months ago by Delilah S. Dawson, loved it, gave it 5 stars, one of my favourite books I've read so far this year. Now I'm going to go on to Bloom, and then from there I'm going to go on through her other backlist as well. She has a book coming out later this year that's called Monsteria. Here's the cover. Looks very similar to this. And then there's another one that's about unicorns. Can't remember what that's called. Also put the cover here. Ta-da. So, but I thought I'd go to this one first because it was a very well recommended one, and I have been kind of umming and ahhing about it for a little while, but I'm very excited. I do feel this is going to have like a romance twist to it. It says when sweet romance turns deadly. Dark tale of passion taken an unsavory turn. And as always, her books are quite short, so a nice little novella to get to at some point. I may save this for spooky season, as in like October, because in October I believe I'm going to be doing 31 books in 31 days in October, so this will be quite a good one to just fly through for that, so yay. This is another one that has definitely been on my radar for a little while, and I just kind of kept putting it off, but there was a reason I picked this up, and I can't remember, but it is Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. I've never read anything by Chuck Tingle before, and this is the first book I've ever bought by him as well, so I'm very intrigued by this. It also, I did a video for Summerween this year, and it involved a lot of research and a lot of watching YouTube videos, and I got a hell of a lot of book recs from that aren't in that video, but I still wanted to buy the books, and I think this is where this came from, and I am very much intrigued by it and by the synopsis and how it was explained. I'm very interested to read this. Another one I may read going into like October time, as I was told it is quite fast-paced, so in that sort of sense I think I might save it for that, but it is another one I'm excited for, and I just really like the cover on this. It's very rare you get a horror that's pink, to be perfectly honest. This is another one that came up in my research for my video, and I actually hadn't heard of it until that video, so I picked it up, and it is Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews, and a lot of people I have similar tastes in have given this like 4 or 5 stars, and it is a YA. Is it YA? Are you YA? Are you YA? Hello? Are you YA? It's a children's book. Fuck it off. Is it actually? So it's not young adult? For real? Interesting. Apparently it's a children's book. Don't know how I feel about that. But this is a thriller more than like a horror, even though that is insanely disturbing. I don't believe this cannot be a children's book. I refuse. In my eyes, it is a YA, and that is what I shall call it. I know nothing about this, so I'm going to read the synopsis for this one, just so you know and I know what the hell this book's about. So, no one would want a heart like his, but he had still cut it out and given it away. When Andrew returned to boarding school, he can't wait to find refuge in the twisted fairy tales he'd written for Thomas, the boy with hair like autumn leaves. But Thomas's parents had vanished, and he has blood on his sleeve. Stranger still, Thomas won't talk to Andrew, even though he's always loved sketching the monstrous creatures from Andrew's stories. Desperate to uncover the truth, Andrew follows Thomas into the forest and catches him fighting a nightmarish monster. His drawings have come to life. The boys must battle the creatures every night, but as their obsession with each other grows stronger, so do the monsters, and Andrew fears the only way to stop them might be to destroy their creator. Sounds good. I'm quite excited, obviously, because it is YA. The text is quite big, quite sparse, and it's actually only about 300 pages, so I do think this will be another quick read, and probably another one I probably will read in like September, October time. I think that's if I'm in the mood for horror thrillers in September. I feel like September and October are going to be very horror thriller months where I'll read through a lot of these, but also just reading through a lot of my backlist because there's a lot of it. Next is literally just an impulse buy, honestly. I kind of just saw the title and went, interesting. I like the sound of that. And that was How to Survive a Horror Story by Mallory Arnold. Never heard of this before, and it just sounds cool. So 7 authors enter the manor. Can they survive the story within? Legendary horror author. No, a group of writers find themselves invited to his last will and testament reading, expecting a piece of massive fortune. Each has their own unique connection to the literary icon, some known, some soon to be discovered, and they're waiting for their chance to step into the author's shoes for some time. Instead, they arrive at the Grand Manor and are invited to play a game. The rules are simple: solve the riddle and progress to the next room. If they don't, the manor will take one of them for itself. The Queen's estate was built on bones of the Mortimer family, and like any true horror story, the house is still very, very hungry. It just sounds good, sounds fun, sounds quite fast-paced as well. And I think I remember seeing Lexi from Books of Lexi read the first page of this in one of her most recent videos, which I'll leave down below, and that is just sick. So the first page is literally the letter to which was sent to the authors, and then like the author's names here. And I think that's an amazing way to start a book. But yeah, I'm very excited for this one. I'm very intrigued. And yeah, I hope it's a good time. Even though I don't really like games and like tournaments, I don't mind them in a horror setting, because usually, you know, somebody gets brutally murdered and it makes it fun. Next we have Ghost Eaters by Clay McLeod Chapman. This has been kind of like bubbling about for a couple of years in my brain, in my want to read on Goodreads, and I took the plunge and I bought it because, again, I thought it was a good book to read during spooky season. Didn't seem too long either. It's literally under 300 pages. Seems quite sparse in the sense of like how much writing is on a page. I have no idea what this is about. I just like the name, which sounded really cool. Can't tell you what it's about because honestly I don't think there's actually a synopsis on this book. Oh yes, there is. It's here. Erin hasn't been able to set a single boundary with her charismatic but reckless college ex-boyfriend Silas. When he asks her to bail him out of rehab again, she knows she needs to cut him off. But days after he gets out, Silas turns up dead of an overdose in her hometown of Richmond, Virginia, and Erin's world falls apart. Then a friend tells her about Ghost, a new drug that allows users to see the dead. "Wanna get haunted?" he asks. Grieving and desperate for closure with Silas, Erin agrees a pill-popping seance. But the drug has unfathomable side effects, and once you take it, you can never go back. That just sounds really good. Like, that sounds like something I'm gonna really eat up during October. And I'm very excited for it. So I bought the next two while I was in Bath recently with Bestie Megan, and so I bought another Stephen King, which is The Night Shift, which is Stephen King's first collection of short stories, showcasing the darkest depth of his brilliant imagination and will chill the cockles of many a heart. I really love a short story or a book of short stories, especially horror short stories. I really enjoy them, and this has kind of been sticking out to me for a while, and I do want to read more King, but his books intimidate me massively, so I feel like this is a nice way around it, and I also can just take my time and read a story at a time. There's like no rush into it, if that makes sense, because there's quite a lot of short stories in here. There's 22 short stories in here, so I can very much take my time with this, maybe starting it around September time and reading it all the way through to October. Like, there's no rush, so I just think it's going to be a nice easy King to get through. And obviously I want to read more King, so yeah. And then the other one is Brat by Gabriel Smith, which is a ghost story, which Megan was like, she read the synopsis and gave it to me and went, this is for you. And I went, oh, thank you, what is this? And then I read the back and went, oh, yeah, it is. I'm very much looking forward to this one. I have seen this one, you know, scattered about a little bit in regards to BookTube over the years, but I do think this is a bit of me. And I just realised actually the text is quite big and it is quite short, so again, spooky season. But I'm going to read the synopsis to you and then you can go, yeah Kim, this is for you. So, Gabriel's skin is falling off, his dad is dead and his mum is dying. He owes his editor a novel, and his girlfriend won't answer his calls. Tasked by his horribly well-adjusted brother with clearing out the family home for sale, Gabriel's sanity quickly begins to unravel. His parents' old manuscripts appear to change each time he reads them. A bizarre home video hints a long-buried secret, and there's a hideous man in the garden. Apparently it's hilarious, lyrical, blistering paced, but formally inventive. Brat is a meditation on grief, art, and the love that will leave you altered, breathless, and desperate for more. Tell me that doesn't sound like a bit of me. I think it sounds really good. I'm excited I'm excited and intrigued because that cover is terrifying, may I add. But nonetheless, I'm very, very excited for this one. And then another book I bought that day, on the recommendation of someone who worked in Mr. B's Emporium in Bath. I love Mr. B's and I visit it every time I go in there. The staff are lovely and they also do some really good recommendations. So I picked up the Book of Accidents by Chuck Wendig. The guy in there also recommended another book by Chuck Wendig. Can't remember what it's called. I'll put the cover here just as an FYI. He said this was really good, so there we go. But yeah, this was the one I picked up based off of the fact it's kind of like a haunted house, and I love a haunted house. Haunted house books I actually think are some of my favourite horror books to read. I love a haunted house book. I don't know why, but it just gets me every time. Oh my god, she gave me a bookmark. But this cover also is really cool. It's given like Stranger Things vibes. And I'm very, very excited for this one. A family return to their hometown and to the dark past that haunts them still. I believe it is like multi-perspective. So we have Nathan and we have Maddie. And something long ago, something sinister, something hungry, walked in the tunnels, mountains and coal mines of their hometown in rural Pennsylvania. Now Nathan and Maddie are married and they have moved back to their hometown. And now what happened long ago is happening again, and it is happening to their son. I'm excited. I wonder if this is going to be like dual timeline. So we'll have like in the past, a present day, that kind of thing. And then obviously dual perspective as well from Maddie and Nathan. Don't know, but it sounds good. And I love a haunted house, so a vibe. Also, ain't it beautiful? These two I ordered off of Amazon, literally just for the solid facts that they were on offer, and they're hardbacks, and hardbacks are pricey nowadays, so you know, save the moulet where you can save the moulet, you know. So I've got We Live Here Now by Sarah Pinborough, and Dissection of a Murder by Joe Murray, which has got a beautiful sprayed edge saying guilty or not guilty, you decide. I think this is more like thrillery mystery kind of thing, and this is another haunted house, and this was recommended to me after I read We Used to Live Here, and I've been umming and ahhing about it ever since, so I'm very much excited to read this one. I think it will be fun. I'm very excited. Love a haunted house. And this one I think is a newer release, and I've seen it popping about everywhere, and I'm very excited. I think it's like a courtroom thriller is what I have grasped of it. A dead judge, a silent defendant, a courtroom full of liars. Sounds cool. I'm excited. I think it will be fun. I don't really think I want to know much else. I think I'm quite happy to just go in knowing fuck all, to be perfectly honest, like I do with most thrillers, because it makes it more thrilling, even if the books are shit. Yeah, I'm going to do them in a little stack. So I've got 3 books here, which I purchased on Waterstones using some of my points, mainly because I just couldn't find them in actual Waterstones. So I went to the one in Bath and I went to the one in Cardiff. Could I find them? No. So I thought I'll just order them. It will be a little bit easier. These were all books that came up when I was doing my research for one of my videos that you will see by the end of the week, and one of them is The Hacienda by Isabel Canas. This was a one that very nearly became a part of my vlog, but didn't, because another book kind of outdid it, if you like. But I'm still very excited. The cover is stunning. Absolutely stunning, and I'm very, very, very excited to read this one. So it sounds like another kind of creepy house, knowing that something is wrong in this really creepy house, and she needs help, so she goes to this young priest for some help, and a kind of a bit of a romance sparks between those. Yeah, so it just kind of sounds like a really fun haunted house book, but with a kind of like a little bit of a romantic twist to it as well, which I ain't against, not gonna lie. Then I have Listen for a Lie by Amy Tintera. I can't remember who I saw read this. I saw somebody read this recently in a vlog, and I can't remember who it is. If I remembered, I'll put their name here or something. And they really enjoyed it, and then seeing them reading this really excited me. And also I saw that the UK cover was yellow, and I like a yellow cover. So I bought it, and it was nice and simple as that. So we follow Lucy Chase, who is the woman who doesn't remember murdering her best friend. You probably think that she did it too. Being found covered in her blood doesn't exactly scream innocent. I'm as frustrated as you are. I'd love to know if she is a murderer. It's something you really should know about yourself. And now, thanks to the true crime podcast Listen for the Lie, I could finally have my answer. But how will our character live with herself if it is her? And if she didn't kill her, then who the hell did? I remember them saying it is like a nice, fun, funny, fast-paced book, which I quite love a funny thriller. I do have a little bit of a soft spot for them. I read Too Old for This by Samantha Downing, which was funny. Wasn't thrillery enough for me, but was still fun. Same with books by like Benjamin Stevenson, where they have like the funny vibe to it. I really enjoy those. And I think this will be a nice fun time. And I do love a podcast element, not gonna lie. And then we also have Pen Pal by Daphne Ubakash, I think. Cash, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, I'm really sorry. So this is a short novella. This I have been eyeing up for years, and I've been too scared to buy it until now. The cover is creepy as fuck. It is quite short, however. I think it's only, yeah, just about 200 pages. And I have seen some great reviews for this one, especially in the research I did for my vlog. Bloody hell. A lot of people were terrified by this book, so I am nervous and excited at the same time. Yay! So we have our main character who, in an attempt to make sense of their own mysterious and unsettling childhood memories, begins to reconstruct his past. As the games and adventure of his youth become engulfed by a larger story, he finds that it forms a tapestry of unbelievable horror that he never could have expected. Each chapter completes a different piece of the puzzle for both you and the narrator, and by the end of it all, you will wish you could forget what he never knew. That just sounds really good. I'm excited. I love it when you have different pieces of a puzzle and you have to merge them together. The kind of like uketsu books are a great example of that. I really enjoyed those, so I'm very excited to read this one. And then the last two books I have for you, one of them is a new release that I didn't know was out yet, and one of them is a book that I've been told is iconic, and he is ashamed that I haven't read it, and by he I mean my dad. So I bought it. So the one that my dad was ashamed of I haven't read yet is The Shining by Stephen King. I actually think I probably would really enjoy this one. I tried to read Salem's Lot a little while back and I just got bored, so I put that down and still haven't picked it up. But I think The Shining is going to be more me, and I do really like the film, so I think it is going to be a bit easier of a read, and yeah, it probably scared the shit out of me, but that's okay. I don't mind being scared. Nothing scares me much nowadays, apart from, you know, swans. Other than that, we're good. So I'm quite in the mood for this one. I think, again, this will either be one I'm going to read this month, or it will be one that I read into like September, October time, depending on my vibe. So we'll see how that goes. And then the new release I didn't realise was out yet is Soulless House by Will MacLean. This is another haunted house book that very much caught my attention, and I'm very excited to read this one. It actually sounds really, really good. And we follow like a group of children in 1993 who, I say children, teenagers, young adults, who are clearing out a Victorian mansion, and through doing so find a load of journals which talk about this man's obsession with his missing mother, and discovering a place called Be Wise, and it's mostly mysterious, his beliefs in another realm lying parallel to ours, along with coded instructions as to how it might be reached. This is definitely going to fit one of the prompts for horror bingo. I think it's something to do with there being like another world and that kind of shit, but also spooky buildings, and it just sounds fun. And yeah, I didn't know this was out, so I'm very excited to have this. I literally bought this today because I saw it and I went, oh, you're out, come with me. So bought it, obviously, and The Shining, because apparently I'm a disgrace for not reading it yet. But hey ho, he was literally like, for all the books you own and all the books you read, how have you not read The Shining? And I was like, it's a good question, to which I don't know the answer, I'm afraid. So yeah, but yeah, Solar's House as well, which I'm very, very excited for. But that is the end of my Summerween book haul, my horror thrillery book haul, a book haul, whatever you want to bloody call it, you know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if I should prioritise any of these, if you've read any of them, if you've added any of them to your TBR. Let me know down below. Leave an emoji to tell me how your recent read went. That's a good one. That's good. I like that. Beautiful. Mine would be ghosts. That's how my recent read went, if you haven't seen my vlog. But yeah, that is the end of this video. Like, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.